I'd like to now call to order the meeting of the Board of Commissioners for the town of Mint Hill, North Carolina, September the 11th of 2025. We do have a quorum present to conduct business. At this time, I would like to ask Mayor Pro Tem Dalton to lead us in our invocation, please.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, thank you so much for this evening. We're out here, dear Lord, to conduct town business. Thank you for everyone who's come out tonight. We ask that you be with us, give us the wisdom and guidance to make the decisions that will affect this town. We ask you to be with us the rest of this evening. For in Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. If you would at this time stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you, sir. Item number 3 is additions, deletions, and arrangements of other agenda items. I do have a couple items that we're going to add this evening. One is a proclamation for Stillbirth Prevention and Awareness Day, and the other will be 11B, which is a budgeting item that needs to be done in conjunction with item number 11. So those will be added to the agenda this evening. Item number 4 is approval of the minutes of the August 14th regular meeting.
Motion to approve. Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any further comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any approve? Any that don't approve? Item number 5 is the consent agenda. A is accept the August tax collector's report. B, adopt updated Board of Commissioners public comments procedures. C, accept July treasurer's report and financial statements. D, adopt new job descriptions and modifications to existing job descriptions.
Motion to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 6. At this time, I'll now open the public hearing on ZC 25-5, filed by Mike McGee to allow expansion of the Shiloh True Light Church campus to include classrooms, dorms, living quarters, bunkhouse, family life center, and 12 residential lots. Property located at 8560 True Light Church Road, tax parcel number 137-102-10 and 137-102-03. I believe the applicant is present. I saw him somewhere. Yes, sir. If you'd like to come to the microphone up here, if you'd give us your name and your address, please, sir, and then you have the floor for your presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. What I'd like to do is just go over a little bit of basically what we're planning on doing or what we'd like to do over there. We have there in there, first of all, I'll tell you who I am. I'm Mike McGee. I live at 4524 Carricker Road, Monroe, North Carolina. I have been a member of the Shiloh True Light Church there for about 50 years. I've been the minister there for 21 years. And we have approximately 150 acres in our campus there. It goes way back and all the way around on Tompkins Road, different places there. And this is a small partial of it. There's about 30 acres of it there. And for the several years, we have been working, or I have, and the entire congregation has been working with several other ministries around helping them with living quarters for people who are not, have, just their circumstances. And it can vary a lot of why they're out of a home, or children that needs a home or something. And we've got the facilities, we've got the place there, and we feel like there's a huge need for this type thing. And this is not something where we're trying to bring in a lot of rental stuff or anything like this. These things will be owned. And what we're planning on doing, let me start, it's phased. And there'll be, at the bottom of it there, you see 4 buildings there, or 5 buildings there, kind of rectangle buildings. Those are living quarters there that what we'd like to be able to build, and we'll probably build 2 of them. And then just as these things move over, this entire project would probably maybe a 10-year project to do all that, if we ever even do all of it. But we'd like to start out with a few of these living quarters here to where we can bring like single moms or a family that's lost their home for some reason, to help them to have a place to live where we can help them and get them back on their feet to where they can get back into society. I have, over the last few years, I've worked, and we have been associated or worked with some stuff with a Tabernacle Baptist in Greenville, South Carolina. We've helped them with a situation that they had down there. They've been doing this for many, many years, and I've even hired some of the young men that's come through their program there that they helped. You know, it's not kind of like an orphanage, but they could bring them in out there and help them, train them, teach them about everything, just good works, and teach them about Christ as they're coming up through. We'd like to start out with maybe a couple of buildings there with that. And then if things work, we may would add a couple more. We've got a total of 5 of those buildings there. If you could, how can I raise that?
They got it over there.
Going
Yeah.
up. These are the 2 buildings that we have. This is actually one of them here. This has 12 units in it, and those will be like 1 bedroom, living area, bathroom, and a small kitchen. Then the other building, can you flip that one up? That is like, it's got 6 units in that, and it's a 2-bedroom upstairs with a bath upstairs, and then there's a living quarters, kitchen, and dining area, and a half bath downstairs. So these are the kind of things, and this is stuff, as you can see, we want it to look nice. We want it to be something that the community will be proud of there. And again, you know, Shiloh Church has been there for 120 years. We were founded in 1906. And I think if you'll see what we try to do things to upbuild the community. We're not trying to tear the community down at all. We want to make it to where it's better and that we can help people as we go along. Also, some of the things that I see that in this need, and I built the Union County Community Shelter about 5 years ago down there and worked with them on it. And one of the main things when we started that thing, they put in 7 units in there for families. And it wasn't very long, and I'm thinking, you know, families, why do you need a place for families? How are they getting out of a home or whatever? But very shortly, we saw that that was not near enough. And we need more than that because there's a lot of families that somehow they lose their job. It might be over sickness. It could be all manner of things. I've talked to people like that had a good job. All of a sudden they get cancer, he loses his job, and he has to go into a shelter for some reason till he can get back on his feet. And these are the kind of people that they're out there, and we want to be able to help them, and we want to use this facility, all the property and stuff that we have there, to be able to build these things. Then at the same time, some of the flip it back to the project there. There you go. We've got some areas up there where we have bunk houses. That could be where we can bring children in to where there's people that they're overseeing that and help them to live. But one of the main things that I'm thinking about that we'd like to have is to where we can have like Christian camps in the summertime or whatever, because we got all this land out there. And I want to be able to, we have some ponds on it, beautiful trees and things where we can have some trails, we can do all kind of things and bring kids out, get them out of some of these inner city places and bring them out here and let them know what life's really about. And these are some of the things that we have that we'd like to see. And then we've got some classroom buildings up there. We have classrooms in our other buildings now, but there may be a time where we want to build some more classrooms and be able to offer our services to some other people than what we do. We have a program there now, a vocational program that we bring kids in and we teach them all about working basically. We teach them a lot of different trades that they can use as they go on through life. And we'd like to be able to help others to be able to do. I have all people constantly asking me, how can we get into that program? We'd like to be able to help that program to be further down the road with other people. Down at the very bottom, it shows those 12 lots there. That was just, we had some land there and we just said, hey, we'll put it in there like that. And later on, sometime, if we ever do it, we would build some little small type cottages or something to where we could still use those for the same purpose, to help people to have a place that they could live. And as you'll see, just across the road from the church there on on True Light Church Road, we just built 2 homes there. And this is kind of what you could be looking at there. And we built a duplex right down the street, a corner. All of those homes are occupied by Ukrainian refugees that have come in from that country because of the war and have come over here, and we're helping them to be able to have a place to live and where we can help them to get back upon their feet here, coming from their war-torn areas there that they have. So that's kind of what we're talking about in a nutshell. Is there any questions?
Commissioner Henderson, questions, please.
I have one question. How long can participants stay there? Is it for a specific set time, or once they move there, they can just stay there until they determine to move? What does that look like, the duration?
Quite frankly, I don't have a perfect answer on that. Our goal is to bring, if it's a family, to bring them in and help them to get back on their feet and for a period of time. I know down at the Union County Union County Shelter, that they will allow them to come in for 90 days. But I think that's but then they turn around and help them to get into some kind of facility or some type of a home that they can go on through. Some of those things I can't answer right now, but I would think that that's a little bit short to me on some. But I would say hopefully within a year, they could be back on their feet and we could help them to move them out.
Yeah, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Dalton.
What type of fees will you have associated with the people?
That would all depend on their ability. Most of them, when they would come in, there would be no fees or anything like that to begin with. Once they started getting on their feet, we would want them to help out with some of the cost of their living so that others might be able to have that same opportunity when they leave.
And how are you going to find these people?
Do what?
How are you going to find these people? How will they apply for
Well,
this?
Just strictly by putting the word out to a lot of these other ministries that work, like Servants Heart up here. They deal with people that need places to live. We also have Sydney here tonight with 1-7 Ministries, and they do exactly what we're talking about here, and she signed up to speak a little bit and tell what some of the needs are. And just from different places, you'd be surprised at how many people out here are in need of this type thing.
That's all I have for now.
Commissioner Holton.
So coincidentally, I've found myself right in the midst of helping a family over the past week that has found themselves homeless. And something like this would be great for what they're looking for. So I see the value in that. I'm assuming there's some sort of a contract as far as like zero tolerance for drug use, alcohol use on the premises and everything like that. And then looking at this, there's 4 different phases that you have right here. And then just looking at phase one with, I guess, the multifamily homes and all that are there, the 5 units, there, where will the primary entrance for that be?
Right now, to begin with, we would be coming through the entrance of the church and coming down there to where it joins the other property there, and we'd come in through there down to those.
So between the cemetery and the church?
I'm sorry.
Is it the drive that's between the cemetery and the church?
Yes, there's 2 entrances there. There's one on each side of the church, and all that comes through the parking lot and down through.
Are we putting in decel lanes and turn lanes in there to come in off of True Light Church?
That would be determined by you folks, but there's not going to be, I mean, you're not talking about a tremendous amount of traffic that's going to be coming in and out of that.
Well, I could see that, but I also see 4 different phases and potential in the future and whether it happens or not. Like I'm trying to take into account the project as a whole
I understand.
and the effect that it could have on True Light Church Road there with traffic. And even in phase one, that would be 28 units, correct?
Actually, it'd be more than
38.
Is it 38? Mm-hmm. Okay. So,
And some of those would have cars, some of them may not. But if they all did, that'd be 38, 40 vehicles, something that,
yeah, I just think, I mean,
50
as,
vehicles.
as with anything, like with the neighborhood or anything that we're looking like that, turn lanes and decel lanes are definitely something that we would have to have, I think, with that.
But let me make a little comment on that. We have, and I've got our traffic guy here that did the studies on it, if you'd like to let him answer some of those questions that you might have. But just let me go over a little bit of it. I understand what you're talking about there with decel and stuff. But I also look at it, normally you're dealing in a lot of these cases where you're doing it, you're dealing with a subdivision or something where they're going to put those lanes in, and all that cost is going over here into those lots. What we're looking at here, everything here is donated money, basically. And to put decel and turning lanes out there on that road, you're looking at anywhere between $300,000 to $500,000 to do that. I can build a bunch of building out here for that and help a lot of people. When we look at the traffic out there, we had a traffic count done on that. NCDOT doesn't require anything like that until they get to 4,000 vehicles per day. We're at 2,150 vehicles. So, I just ask you to take these things into consideration.
Yeah.
Because we're wanting to do something. I don't want to do anything that's not safe. I don't want to do anything that's going to create problems in the community. We want this to be something that's good for the community. But I want you to think, is this something that's truly necessary that we got to have that and spend that kind of money that we could go out here and build one of these buildings for that, basically, and help these people that we're talking about.
I got you. Thank you.
Commissioner Long?
You mentioned an agency in Greenville. Is there any other around the South especially that you're familiar with that have done a similar type solution to people that are living on the edge?
I'm sure they are. Well, 1-7 actually does some of the exact same thing that they do
Well, I'll
there,
wait to hear
which
from,
is right here.
from her then. I'm good, Mayor.
I want to piggyback a little bit on what Commissioner Holton said as far as those turn lanes are concerned. Understand that we've done that with subdivisions, but we've also done that with every religious facility that we've talked to in the last 6 years while I've been mayor, and that's been something that we've insisted on. What you were talking about wasn't really vehicles. I think you said something about 2,100 vehicles, but it has to do with trips. And the number of trips that this could generate when you start looking at phase 2, when you look at your Family Life Center, there's a lot of parking spaces there. I didn't count them because I can't see that well enough to count them right now on that little teeny map that I've got here that I'm trying to read off of. But there's quite a few there. So for me to support this, and I'm definitely in support of your goals, there and what you're trying to accomplish there. I've told you that personally.
Yes, sir.
That I was within that, but I think we need to do the road improvements out there in preparation for all the trips that this could generate and hopefully will generate in the future when you fill up all these buildings. So that's all that I have.
And I understand what you're saying. Yes, sir. Yes, this is Brady with the road traffic counts, if you'd like.
Hey, Mayor, Board, members of the board. Brady Finkley, Kinley Horn. I'm at 200 South Tryon Street, Suite 200, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28202. As Mike mentioned, we performed analysis on this. A little bit about myself. I'm with Kinley Horn, been with Kinley Horn for 17 years, been in practice in and around Charlotte, working with DOTs, working with municipalities. Grew up off Lawyers Road, actually, back in the 90s, so understand the growth around here. So we looked at it from a few different perspectives in terms of do we need turn lanes? Are they warranted? Number one, that's one thing. And then we also look at it as, do we actually think they would be helpful or needed? I'm a professional engineer. I'm also a road safety professional as well. So I've taken both capacity, delay, as well as safety when I look at these things. And from a trip perspective, Mayor, as you mentioned, the town did a good job of making sure that we weren't just looking at phase one, we were looking at the future full build. So we looked at all the trips that are accounted for on everything that you have up here, even though I don't think Mike's planning on doing that right now. So that was what our analysis was based on. And we looked at that, it came out to 36 AM trips, and that's both in and out. And then in the PM, that's 40 trips, both in and out. To give you a relative basis, NCDOT's threshold for requiring a study is 3,000 trips per day. We're at 424, so well below. The town's threshold is either 1,000 daily trips and or 100 peak hour trips. So we're well below both of those thresholds. The town also requires a transportation technical memorandum, basically a small version of a TIA, if we meet 50 trips in the peak hour, and we don't meet any of those. So from a trip perspective, we're really low here. And then the other thing that we look at is how many trips are out there on the existing road today, so True Light Church Road. Mike mentioned we did a count out there because it's not an NCDOT road. We collected it, and it was 2,150 trips of daily volume out there today. So in terms, to put that in relative perspective, we looked at the peak hour. The highest peak hour was 120 cars passing there in one peak hour. So that's about 2 cars per minute. So think about a car every 30 seconds out there. So you think about low amount of trips, both going in and out of the site, plus you have a low amount of trips on the existing road, which means you have plenty of gaps to be able to get in and out. It's not, we don't have any concerns with it being a safety problem or being a congestion problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Holton.
Chief, is there any way, just so we have our own data, to put one of those signs out there to monitor so we can get our own count on it? Thank you, sir.
Okay, we have 2 other people who've signed up to speak under this public hearing. Sydney Newell. And if you would just give us your full name and your address, please, and then you have 3 minutes to speak.
Hi, I'm Sydney Newell. I'm 1408 Shannon House Drive. I work at 17 Ministries. We do essentially the vision behind what this project is. We do emergency rescue housing. We run a nonprofit school, and we offer community support. The need is huge. I got a call yesterday about single mom with 4 kids. The youngest is 1 year old. And to be quite honest, there's a need greater than what any one facility is able to meet. And I've seen firsthand how powerful a safe place is, first of all. You have families coming out of things that they never should have to come out of. Kids that are not even old enough to speak who have seen things that they shouldn't have to see ever. And the impact that a safe house with community support gives is life-changing. And I've seen that firsthand. 17 has existed since 2008. I've been there for 6 years. And I've seen families that have been given the chance to rebuild their lives. And it's amazing. It makes you kind of step back. Sorry, I don't mean to get
It's all right.
too emotional about this. But it's really powerful when a kid comes out of a circumstance and that one act of kindness that really was a community effort to bring them in, give them a safe place, and then help them navigate life after something traumatic. I mean, there's no value that you can put on that. I see kids that go to college, kids that enter the workforce, moms that don't have to worry about their husbands abusing them anymore. And so the need is there. I think that it's more, there's no price tag you could put on that. And I fully support what Pastor Mike and this project is about, because I've seen firsthand that, quite frankly, there's not enough of these, and we need them.
Very good. Thank you very much. I had one other person sign up to speak, and I'm having trouble reading the card. Is it Jen or, okay. Yeah, would you give me your name and your address for the record, please? You're fine. I'm the one that can't read.
All right, Jim Ford, 5900 Sugarcane Court in the Oxfordshire neighborhood. I'm the vice president of the HOA there. Our president is in attendance, as well as several members of our community. Been living in Mint Hill about 20 years, have watched numerous developments come in around our neighborhood, all meeting the half-acre lot requirement that we put on top of the houses around here. I mean, that's one of the reasons we moved here. We love the spread out environment, right? When I saw the rezoning signs go up, I thought, okay, another big housing development going in, no problems, right? Just kind of like we're building along Willgrove Road. There's several that have gone in there. The Oaks went in above us, things like that. Once I took a look at these plans, I mean, quite honestly, I see 200 people living in bunkhouses, right? I don't understand how this fits into our town plan that we just did 5-10 years ago, where we did the downtown overlay. We did the rest of the town was going to be residential homes with half-acre lots, spread out communities, right? This is smack dab in the center of these. And while I applaud Mr. McGee's mission, I myself have volunteered at the men's homeless shelter uptown, battered women's shelters as well. I think we all agree there's a need for this. The real question is there a need for this in the center of the rural area of Mint Hill, right? I mean, we don't allow apartments, right? We barely allow condos and things like that, except in the downtown overlay itself, right? But here we sit, I'm staring at 200 people living in bunkhouses. I'm staring at apartment complexes going up around here, and I don't hear a clear and concise plan, all apologies, as to what's really gonna happen here. Communal showers, communal meals, like, is this what we really want, is a large homeless encampment in the middle of rural Mint Hill? Right? And I've had this expression from several of the folks living in Oxfordshire as well. Okay, that's what I had. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, sir. I didn't miss anybody, right? I only had 2 cards. All right. With that being said, I will now close the public hearing on ZC 25-5 for tax parcels number 137-102-10 and 137-102-03. Having closed that, I will now open the public hearing on ZC 25-7 filed by Nicholas Bradford to allow an existing building to be used as a bank with drive-through service for property located at 6849 Matthews Mint Hill Road, tax parcel number 135-381-75. I believe the applicant is present. If you would come to the microphone, give your name and your address for the record, please. And you have the floor, sir.
Hi, yes, my name is Nicholas Bradford. I work at 1520 South Boulevard in Charlotte with RSNH. I'm here representing our client PNC today, and this is regarding the property at 6849 Matthews Mint Hill Road. And as you said, we're proposing to put in a bank with a drive-through ATM. You can turn to the next slide, please. Thank you, sir. So this is the site. It's just down the road from here. It's near the, like across the street from the library. It's near the Harris Teeter. It's right off of 51. Next slide, please. Thank you. Currently, it is a Wendy's with an existing drive-through lane. The drive-through lane currently wraps around the front of the building facing the road. It's only a single lane with no bypass. The current zoning is BG with DOB. That's a lot of letters. It just means it's general business downtown overlay. It does allow financial institutions, but the current conditional zoning was set for a restaurant with the Wendy's. And so that's what we're here to talk about tonight. Next slide, please. And we're proposing going in and eliminating the wraparound drive-through and queuing and enhancing the site by replacing the portion that faces of the drive-through that would face Highway 51 with landscaping. And then we would maintain the existing drive-through transaction point on the building, but have the queuing behind the building, much smaller queuing. It's like 3-4 car stacking that we're anticipating with bank. Next slide, please. It would also include some architectural enhancements to the building. We would maintain a lot of the brick aesthetic that is consistent with the character of the town of Mint Hill, especially along this shopping center area. But we would be repainting the awnings, replacing exterior lights so that they are up to date with a more contemporary look. We would be repainting any old or rusty metals, replacing finishes, et cetera. And so this slide and the next slide are the building elevations. So you can see what we're proposing as far as the exterior improvements. And then next slide. And that is it for me as far as what we're proposing.
Questions, Commissioner Long?
None at this time, no, sir.
Commissioner Holton?
So, wasn't there some talk about where the existing drive-through is now, like converting that into like greenery?
Yes, sir. That's got it right on the slide. I need it. Yes, sir. The part on this slide right here, if you can see it on your side, the proposed use sheet. It shows the proposed landscaping that would be where that brick wraparound part of the drive-through would be. So the existing, we remove that portion of the drive-through, and car stacking would then be behind the building through the parking lot leading towards Tudor Street.
And how many people will this employ?
I think standard is 5 employees for these banks.
Gotcha. And I know we've got some Brighton Park folks that are in here tonight, because this would definitely affect you. And this is just my own personal comment right here. It's because I hear chatter, people talk to me all the time, I wish that this was this, I wish that that was that. But of course, they're not going to spend their money to open that. Trust me, I wish it was a Krispy Kreme, but yes, you think the people on Evans Road are upset now, imagine that. This is very low impact. It's always well maintained and well manicured. So where is the closest PNC bank right now?
I don't have the data for that off the top of my head. It's not on 51, at least as part of the Mint Hill Township.
It's a good ways, yeah. Yep. So definitely this would not be a huge impact to traffic, probably a fraction of what Wendy's even brought in.
It would be significantly less probably than Wendy's.
So that's all I have.
Mayor Pro Tem Dalton?
Is this going to have a drive-through at all?
Yes, sir. There will be an after-hours deposit and an ATM at the same transaction point that the Wendy's transaction point for like food would be. So it's just that we are eliminating the portion of the drive-through that is facing Highway 51 and landscaping there for beautification, and then just having the car stacking, the queuing, be behind the building from the main road. So it would go back towards Tudor Street.
Okay, my concern is where the parking is, people coming into the bank, will they be coming in through that same area where the drive-through will be?
No, sir. So they can use the same entrance, but the parking, the drive-through comes around. If you look at the plan on the screen, the drive-through comes around north of the building, and the parking is further north than that.
Okay. So they're not going to be interfering anywhere. Pedestrians are not going to be walking where the cars will be driving through.
There is an existing pedestrian walkway where after where cars would stop for transactions. So it would cross across the drive-through where people are stopped.
That's all I have for now.
Commissioner Henderson.
Is PNC a 5-day-a-week bank or 6-day-a-week bank?
6 days, so Monday through Friday. I'm gonna try to remember the hours off the top of my head. It's 8 to 6, I believe, or 9 to 6, I believe. And Saturdays, it's 9 to 2 as standard.
Anything further? I did not have anybody signed up to speak at this public hearing. Did we miss anybody that may have? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your time.
If not, I will now close the public hearing on ZC 25-7 filed by Nicholas Bradford, tax parcel number 135-381-75. We'll now go to public comments. We have public comments at every meeting, and we just updated some of our public comments so that they're a little bit clearer, so that we know what's going on. So I'm going to read some of the policy that we have that we've adopted now. Members of the public who wish to speak during public comment portion of the regular meeting must sign up with the town clerk in accordance with the clerk's sign-up policy. That list counted. The fact that she's sitting up here, that's what we want to make sure that we do. The clerk will keep a record of the order in which the members of the public signed up. Although members of the public will generally be called in the order in which they sign up, the chairman has the discretion to revise the order if chairman determines. Members of the public who appear during the public comment portion of the regular board meeting may discuss any matter within the jurisdiction of the Board of Commissioners except for the following types of matters. Matters which appears on the agenda of the meeting for that board meeting. A matter which concerns the candidacy of any person seeking public office, including the candidacy of the person appearing before the board. And C, a request that the board consider funding a certain project or activity either from the current budget or by inclusion in a future budget. Number 3, members of the public appearing before the board will each be given 3 minutes to speak unless there are 4 or more speakers that wish to speak concerning the same matter, at which case all persons wishing to speak on the same matter will be considered a group and given a total of 10 minutes in which to speak. The group, 4 or more, would divide the 10 minutes amongst themselves however they determine to do that. The board reserves the right to alter these rules on a case-by-case basis as necessary for the efficient and effective conduct of the business. You're going to see me alter that tonight because there's 4 of you signed up, and we're going to go 12 minutes instead of 10 because I don't want to short you. Item number 4, member of the board will not engage in dialogue with public comment speakers. This is not a time for us to do question and answers. It's a time for us to hear from the public and hear their comments. Item 5, handouts and/or tokens shall be given to the clerk for distribution to board members at the conclusion of the meeting. For the efficient and orderly conduct of town business, the Board of Commissioners reserves the right to set a maximum numbers of speakers to whom they will hear from during the public comment portion of any meeting, or to set a maximum time for the public comments portion of the meeting. Members of the public wishing to address the board during this portion of the meeting must appear in person. Finally, number 7, persons addressing the commissioners are expected to observe the decorum of the chamber, to be respectful of the commission and the public, to refrain from the use of profanity, coarse, or foul language. Chairman may rule out of order any comments tending to disrupt the meeting that are rude, inappropriate, or intended to harass any persons or group of people, and is authorized to take reasonable appropriate measures to ensure compliance with these rules. With that being said, we really want public comments. Just has to have some rules, okay? So the first one that we're going to stretch here this evening, under our public comments, we have 4 people signed up to speak this evening. And instead, they're all speaking to the same thing. Instead of giving you 10 minutes, I'm going to let you each have 3 minutes like we normally would, and you're going to get 12. And my meeting's going to run real late, right? So with that being said, I'll call the first person to the podium. That's Todd Goldfarb. If you will give us your name and your address, sir, for the record, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Todd Goldfarb. I live at 5907 White Hawk Hill Road, Mint Hill, North Carolina, 28227. I'm serving as the president of Brighton Park HOA. Evans Road is a key connector between Lawyers Road and the Harris Teeter Shopping Center. But for years, it's also been a dangerous stretch of road. Back in 2017, town officials acknowledged the frustration and safety concerns we're experiencing. Yet nothing meaningful has changed. This is not a new problem, and it's been ignored for years. Last fall, the Mint Hill Police Department traffic study showed over 80,000 cars traversed Evans Road each month. Residents like Jason Turpin came before the Board of Commissioners with personal testimony, but no action followed. Neighbors in Brighton Park have reported near misses with their children, kids almost hit by speeding cars, or drivers ignoring stop signs. There are many residents and non-residents who regularly walk Evans Road in Brighton Park, taking their lives in their hands. It's not just an inconvenience, it's dangerous. Other nearby towns, Stallings, Monroe, Matthews, and Indian Trail, already use speed cushions and have clear processes for installing them. These specially designed speed cushions will slow cars, but let emergency vehicles pass safely. If our neighbors can implement this successfully, why not Mint Hill? Some may worry that we'll have a slippery slope, right? One speed cushion could lead to too many, but that argument doesn't hold up. Matthews has many speed cushions without chaos. Safety, not fear, should guide our decisions. This past summer, Brighton Park residents started a petition. It now has over 200 signatures provided. We also have some supporters here tonight. We are taxpayers, citizens, and voters of Mint Hill, and we are united. We want Evans Road to be safe. We're urging the town to act before something tragic happens. And if speed cushions aren't the answer, then what is? What steps can we take as a community to make sure these dangers are addressed? Please don't wait for a preventable accident to force action. We're here tonight to say clearly, Evans Road needs traffic calming now. Thank you for your time and commitment to keeping Mint Hill safe.
Thank you, sir. Next one in line is Jason Turpin.
Jason Turpin, 6924 Evans Road. I'm here once again to advocate for speed cushions on Evans Road. As I mentioned last time, Mint Hill Police recorded over 87,000 vehicles on Evans Road in a single month. That is cut through traffic on a residential street with no protections in place. The problem continues to get worse. Speeding and stop sign violations remain constant and unchecked. I live at the intersection with Hope Road, where there are stop signs on all sides. Despite this, I've nearly been T-boned pulling into my driveway with my children multiple times. Neighbors have also reported dangerous encounters, including the one where a child was nearly struck. And these are just a few examples. This is a serious safety issue for the children of Mint Hill. At one end of Evans Road is a daycare in which numerous parents walk their children to. At the other end of Evans Road is a bus stop where kids are dropped off in the afternoons. Next month, Brighton Park will welcome hundreds of children for Halloween, and the town is doing next to nothing to protect these children. Last year, the mayor told me he was not opposed to speed cushions, but that our fire chief was. When I spoke with the fire chief, his response was simply, "We don't do speed bumps in Mint Hill." My question to you tonight is, who is we? I've spoken with the police leaders who support cushions, commissioners who are not opposed, and over 200 residents have signed a petition in favor. It seems like this isn't a town issue at all. It's one unelected official blocking the process. Our neighboring communities have already installed this, as Todd mentioned. Harrisburg, Matthews, Charlotte, Monroe, Stallings, Indian Trail, and many others use speed cushions. Matthews' transportation planner provided me with traffic study results that show that the cushions reduce speed and cut through traffic. The Union County towns I mentioned allow for neighborhoods to request cushions if 70% of the homeowners on the road vote in favor. So while these communities have a democratic process, in Mint Hill, we are being blocked by an official who has never even been on a ballot. I have a few questions for you tonight that I would like for you to think about. Can you name another neighborhood street in North Carolina that carries nearly 90,000 cars a month and yet receives no protection from its own town? In Mint Hill, why is one unelected bureaucrat given so much influence that he is allowed to override the will of the residents? And most importantly, what will it take the town to act? Does a child have to be struck by a car? In a couple weeks, many of you will be lining the entrances of Evans Road with your campaign signs. If the street matters when it comes to earning votes, then it should be important enough for you to protect the children who live and walk here. I encourage you to take the time to walk the street, talk to our residents, and see the dangers firsthand. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Richard, is it Fida or, okay, sorry.
My name is Richard Fida. I live at 6932 Evans Road, right there in Brighton Park. I grew up in Mint Hill. I've lived there since 2009, and I will tell you that it is a madhouse through there. People blow through the stop signs. We do appreciate when the Mint Hill Police had come out. They, helped out during the time they're there, but they're not there all the time, obviously. But I see it all the time because I'm out in my front yard, and I know how many people come through there. Friends and family cut through there all the time. They'll, honk their horn and wave. So it's now become the primary mode of transportation. It seems like if you're coming down Lawyers trying to get to 51. I've had people honk their horn at me when I'm pulling in my driveway. I've had people whip around, even coming out, and my driveway is this long, unfortunately. But, backing out of the driveway, I have to be very careful because I'm down at the very end. And coming around that corner, people come so fast that, I have to really be careful. So, just wanted to emphasize what everybody's saying. It isn't safe. Even a big guy like myself, when I'm going to cross the road, I don't take the chance because they come through there so fast. And they really, if we get a rolling stop, it's a good thing, because that's better than what happens a lot of times. And even with tutor time in the mornings, you'll see parents trying to get through there really fast, and they blow through there. And so there has to be some sort of physical thing that will help to limit the speed because stop signs are not working. And it isn't safe, and the traffic is just constant. So that's basically all I have to say. I just want to reaffirm what's been said so far.
Thank you, sir. Number 4, Bo Ferguson.
Hey, everybody. I'm Bo Ferguson. Live at 6928 Evans Road. Good to see some of you guys. Some of your faces I haven't seen you in a while. I came here last minute. I didn't even know, I'd heard this talk about this, but I didn't know it was tonight. And all of a sudden I'm like, you know what, I'm going down tonight. And then I see both my neighbors on both sides of me. One I knew was coming, the other I didn't. I don't have a speech, but all I want to say is I've lived in this great town of Mint Hill going on 9 years. I live right on Evans Road, as I said. And I love Mint Hill. And I was shocked when I moved here. One of the first things I found out at a meeting was that Mint Hill doesn't do speed bumps. I thought, huh? I thought every place did that if they needed them. And but I've seen the town do things over the time I've been there. They put in the signs that have deterred some things, but it hasn't eliminated the problem. We have just racing vehicles, and lucky for me, I don't have kids. My kids are grown, but I do have little dogs, and I tried to cross the street just actually recently with my little dog who's getting very old, and no traffic. Either way, I step out, I'm halfway through the road, and whoosh, here comes a car. I'm like having to pick up my little old dog and run across the street. So I'm here as a support for them. I think something definitely has to be done for Evans Road. I mean, we got the Lawyers Road behind us. Granted, we chose to live there, but we have the loud speeding vehicles as it is behind us. We don't need more speeding vehicles right in our front door. And so anyway, I'm here as a support for my neighbors. That's all I got.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir. Oh, one more thing. I'm also a real estate agent, and I've lived it, and though I haven't sold in every neighborhood in this city, there are a lot of neighborhoods that have speed bumps. And many of them are long roads with speed bumps with tons of residential homes. Evans Road is not a very long road. And I don't think 1 or 2 speed bumps makes a big difference on Evans Road. Now I'm done.
Thank you again, sir.
Yes, sir.
Item number 9, we're going to do some proclamations right now. Item number 9 is, Mr. Holton, I believe, is it?
9/11 National Day of Service and Remembrance. Whereas the United States of America was brutally attacked on our own soil on September 11th, 2001 through a senseless act of terrorism, and whereas innocent people were killed and injured and our citizenry threatened as a result of these horrific acts, and whereas the death and destruction did not weaken the spirit of the American people, but instead it united our citizenry and resulted in public and private expressions of heroism, compassion, and patriotism. And whereas we salute those who responded to the tragic events with their courage and selfless determination, resources and skill, and in some instances, their lives. Whereas September 11th will never and should never be just another day in the hearts and minds of all Americans. And now, therefore, be it resolved that he, Brad Simmons, by virtue of the authority vested in him as mayor of the town of Mint Hill, do hereby proclaim September 11th, 2025 as 9/11 National Day of Service and Remembrance in the town of Mint Hill, and urge our citizens to recognize the heroism of firefighters, rescue and law enforcement personnel, military service members, and the many volunteers who responded to these tragic events with courage, selfless compassion, determination, and skill, and to remember the victims and innocent lives lost as a result of the tragic events on September 11th, 2001. May they forever rest in peace and abide in our memories. Witness his hand on the seal of the town of Mint Hill on this 11th day of September 2025.
Thank you very much. This time, I'd like to ask Fire Chief Leith to come forward, please, and accept from Commissioner Holton the official proclamation. No, that's yours. Oh.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief. Commissioner Long.
Yes, sir. I'll read on behalf of the mayor. Constitution Week 2025. Whereas September 17th, 2025 marks the 238th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Continental Convention. And whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorial anniversary and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion. And whereas Public Law 9015 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designating September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week. Now, therefore, Mayor Brad Simmons, by virtue of the authority vested in him as mayor of the town of Mint Hill, do hereby proclaim September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week, and ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideals that the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through this guardian of our liberties, remembering that lost rights may never be regained. Witness my hand and seal of the town of Mint Hill this 11th day of September 2025. Mayor Brad Simmons.
Thank you, Commissioner. And if you would, go forward, please, and present that copy to Rosemary Adams, please, I believe. And would you and you're welcome to say a few things if you'd like to, or you don't have to.
Thank you for doing this. We're trying to let the children know about the Constitution, and it gives us all the experience we have to know the country has.
Very good. Very good. Thank you very much. And one I added, Commissioner Henderson, I believe.
This is for Stillbirth Prevention and Awareness Day, whereas 21,000 pregnancies in the United States end in stillbirth each year, and whereas differences persist in birth outcomes, with Black, Native, Hawaiian, or other Pacific Islander, Hispanic, and American Indian or Alaska Native families at the greatest risk of losing a baby to stillbirth. And whereas, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the annual number of stillbirths far exceeds the top 5 leading causes of death among children ages 0 to 14 years combined, including unintentional injuries, congenital anomalies, preterm birth, homicide, SIDS, and heart disease. And whereas, according to the CDC, expectant parents in some age groups, geographic locations, and those expecting multiples also face an increased risk of stillbirth. And whereas in the last 2 decades, the stillbirth rate in the United States declined by a negligible 0.9%, and in a report published by UNICEF comparing progress in improving stillbirth rates, the United States was worse than 151 countries. And whereas stillbirths are devastating and have a profound and devastating impact on the families who endure them, and whereas stillbirth is linked to an increased risk of maternal morbidity and mortality, and whereas with increased awareness and better data collection, we will be able to understand why stillbirths are happening at such an alarming rate and identify what can be done to combat this crisis. And whereas proven stillbirth prevention efforts have the power to save thousands of babies every year, and innovations in stillbirth prevention could save thousands of additional families nationwide from the heartache of losing a baby every year. And whereas recognizing Stillbirth Prevention and Awareness Day is an opportunity to increase awareness, support evidence-based prevention efforts, promote research, encourage improved data collection and greater understanding, and provide support to those who have experienced stillbirth. And whereas Stillbirth Prevention and Awareness Day calls on elected officials to use their authority to take action to help reduce stillbirths and to ensure every expectant family is educated on how to reduce the risk of losing a baby to stillbirth. Now therefore, be it resolved that Mayor Brad Simmons do hereby proclaim September 19th, 2025 to be Stillbirth Prevention and Awareness Day in Mint Hill, North Carolina, recognizing the tens of thousands of American families that have endured a stillbirth and helping to raise awareness in order to prevent this tragedy from impacting other families.
Thank you very much. Item number 11 is discussion and decision on Idlewild Road in North Carolina 51 roundabout sign. At this time, Staff Engineer Justin Williams, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you. Again, I'm Staff Engineer Justin Williams, and I'm just here to quickly discuss the town welcome sign proposed at Idlewild Road and Highway 51 roundabout. Town staff recently received bids for the project, and there were 2 separate designs. You should have both of those in your packet for your review. Design 1 is $163,384. And design 2 is $107,271. I do want to add that staff plans to approach the town of Matthews for a 50-50 cost share given the location on each town's limits. And at this time, staff is seeking a recommendation from the board regarding the preferred design option. I'm happy to answer any questions.
I'm gonna ask one that you're probably not familiar with, so I'm gonna ask Town Manager Welch. We've kind of brought this back to the forefront, but this was an original discussion how many years ago that we looked at doing this sign in the roundabout?
2018.
You already looked it up. Good for you. I should have known you did. I should have known you did. I should have known you did. And at that time, we put it off because we thought they were going to do away with the roundabout and they're going to widen 51 and all the other things they haven't done yet. So
Correct.
that's why we're at this place in time.
Correct.
Any comments from the board? Commissioner Holton?
Curious, so if Matthews decides not to 50-50 split it, their name won't go on the back side of the sign. So what will one side just say, welcome to Mint Hill, and the other side say, thanks for visiting Mint Hill?
That's the plan now. There's not a design for the back yet. We're waiting until we hear from Matthews.
Gotcha.
We'll have back will say, don't go to Matthews.
Keep going around.
Make sure that's
Keep
in the
going
minutes,
around.
Michelle. Make sure that's in the minutes. Any other questions, comments? If not, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept design 1.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. Item
Thank you.
11B, now that you've done 11, we needed to do a proposed budget amendment for the budget. You have it in front of you. I'll entertain a motion to amend the
Motion to
Budget.
amend the budget.
Second.
a motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 12 is other business and council matters. Let's start with Commissioner Henderson. She's been busy all week because I've seen her.
Just a couple of things. I want to share that the National Night Out is an annual community building campaign that promotes police community partnerships and neighborhood camaraderie to make our neighborhoods safe and more caring places to live. And the Mint Hill Police Department will be hosting 3 National Night Outs on Tuesday, October the 7th from 6 to 8 p.m., sponsored by Sunflower Cafe, Stevens Creek Nature Preserve, and the Sonata neighborhood. Also, the chamber will be, Mint Hill Chamber will be hosting a coffee connection with candidates on October the 3rd from 8 to 9 a.m. for business leaders.
Mayor Pro Tem Dalton.
I'd like to piggyback on the National Night Out. If you've never attended that, it's a lot of fun. The police do a very good job showing off some of their cars and the dogs, and they'll have treats and things out there. If you'll go out, you'll really enjoy yourself and probably meet your neighbors or some new friends. The Historical Society on September the 27th from 9 o'clock a.m. to 2 o'clock p.m. will be having their annual Jubilee. That's a great event to go to. They open up the whole entire village, and if you've never been to that, that's something to really go out and see. You'd be amazed at how we go back in from the late 1800s to the early 1900s, how people lived at that time. And that's pretty much it. Oh, the Carpo. Last month when we were there, they gave us a really quick count of what it's going to cost, their budget items from Hurricane Helene. $5 billion is what has been budgeted to do that, with they're hoping to get an 80% return back from the federal government. $4 billion of that is for Interstate 40 to get it completely reopened, and Interstate 26 through there. $1 billion of it was for like 9,000 individual jobs as far as small bridges being taken out. So the state of North Carolina DOT is really strapped for cash now for all the repairs they have to do.
Commissioner Hilton.
All right, first, my 2.5 cents I'm going to throw out there is nothing makes me happier than to see a full room in here, and to see standing room is great. I think we've seen it over the past couple weeks, the community coming out and getting involved. we can't do what we need to do without input from the community, so I appreciate each and every one of you here. For those of you that have stayed for the grand finale, you're in for a big treat now, because I've got a lot going on here, so get your pen and paper, your phone calendar out. So first up, we have the Music and Brews at Veterans Park coming up a week from this Saturday, September 20th at 6:30. Last concert event of the summer, and we have the fantastic performance lined up featuring the music of Groove Machine. It's going to be a wonderful evening filled with great music, refreshing brews, and good company, so make sure to mark your calendars and join us for a memorable night. Also, we have the Scarecrow Decorating Contest kicking off October 1st. Fantastic opportunity to get creative and help decorate Mint Hill for the fall season. The application for the contest can be found on the Mint Hill Events website. Whether you're an experienced decorator or just looking to have some fun, we encourage everyone to participate and showcase their creativity. And finally, we're thrilled to announce the kickoff Mint Hill Madness with our exciting Madness pop-up event happening Saturday, October 4th at Veterans Park. This fantastic event will feature over 90 vendors, showcasing an incredible array of artists, small shops, and food vendors. Perfect opportunity to explore unique products, support local businesses, and enjoy delicious treats. Be sure to mark your calendars, bring your friends and family for what promises to be a fun-filled day. Thank you.
Oh, no, thank you. Commissioner Law, follow that. I do it to you every month, don't I? I make you follow him.
Make it short.
We'll change the seating arrangement next time.
We'll make it short. I'll echo what Patrick said. It's good to see a crowd here, and we're talking Constitution Week, and that is a republic form of government, which is all of us doing with government what we want, and that this shows that it works. So thank you for being here. And I would also encourage, and I think anyone on this board, our cell phone numbers are on the internet. If you've got questions, it doesn't have to be somewhere in your backyard, because that's what typically I've served here 6 years. I was on the planning board 20 years because nobody else would step up. If you got a question about something, call us, text us, whatever you want. You don't have to wait till it's in your backyard. So I would encourage you, talk to us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Just one thing I want to highlight, and it's great that Ms. Adams is here with us. She was a school teacher for more than a year or two, right? Many years ago. The federal education report came out about how well kids are doing and they're not doing well, okay? And how well they can read and they can't read, and how well they're doing with math and they can't do math. And on the national level, it's horrible. It's a lot better on the state level, but it's still not where it needs to be. But what I'm really proud to see is on our state level in our town, our teachers are doing a bang-up job, In Mint Hill, 5 schools exceeded their expected growth in 2024 and 2025, meaning students learned even more last year than the state predicted they would. And those 5 schools are Bain Elementary School, Lebanon Road Elementary School, Mint Hill Elementary School, Mint Hill Middle School, and Independence High School. And that's the second year in a row that Lebanon Road Elementary School has exceeded, and the third year in a row that Independence High School has exceeded. You know, public education gets a bad rap sometimes, but a lot of it has to do with you people sitting here in the room doing a good job with your kids. So you're to be commended as well, because when the parents are in the home and the parents are making sure the kids are doing what they're supposed to be doing, it makes it a whole lot easier on the school teachers. So that's another reason that we have all this traffic coming up and down these roads all the time, because people want to come out here and be involved in successful schools as well. So if you see a teacher this week, make sure you thank a teacher for all that they do in here. I don't want to get off on what's going on in the national scene, because that doesn't affect us a whole lot in Mint Hill, but what what we do have is a very safe community here in Mint Hill as well. We just can't take that for granted. So I would ask that any of you here in the room, if you see something, report it. If you hear something, report it. The best thing we can do is communicate with each other and let everybody else know what's going on in the community. One other thing, I want to thank y'all for being here. I agree with Commissioner Long. I call some of the attendees NIMBY attendees, not in my backyard. The only time I ever see them in a board meeting is when it has something to do in their neighborhood, and we do this stuff every month. We do this stuff every month. So I commend some of you, keep up with what's going on. I know you keep up with what's going on because I hear from you. Some of you even quoted our land use plan this evening. So I heard some of that this evening too, so you're to be commended. But we love to have you here and here every time and let us know what's going on. And we do answer our phones and we do read our emails. So with that being said, anybody else have anything else? No, sir. If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. We are adjourned.